agene nyumba ya Taylor irio tunyara kuba tugusangamo naye na gukinania bune gisaku kyomugusi Getembe FM na Getembe Television Network Ekeonga kyomugusi.
Marago vengia umurigereria wa Getembe TV karibu sana Ekeonga Chinsa Ikomi chabono maragoba ritko neria tichi rimo kusirituko ria Jumatatu yere ye tariki kianda mutinyino yo gatatu karibu sana sinjira ya vina tunyare ko yasanga ase Chinsa mochire cha Facebook Getembe TV na boigo Chinsa mochia YouTube na robu na Getembe TV kurose bimanyerero nere veni nyaboke nchenkro kwa Matildah Obaigwa karanso eke tunyare ko yasanga asinchira ere ya bene na kirongo cha Ekeonga obutuko bogokira rero Chinsa isano na isato nenusu ose Chinsa chamambia kirobokia nigo mulero mutindi unyara kubwata enyumba y'oburaro ase skuru y'abambura ya St Mary's Mosocho yogotoka ime ye ward ya Bogeka ebunge ya Kitutu Church South kubwatekana no bwateka ku mulero yo aborokiwa wetania chimibere anene muno abari grade kiri kya gatano na kabire nigo bono ebintu byabo byonsi byanyara ko byokorarera nabo igo bibagutumika byanyara ko bikoya na korende moroki wa ondetayo onyara gutigerwa chingoma ase omubaso kanoyo korende nigo chibichecho chikoro kibuna umorero yo nyara koleta asara enene ase eskuru yo.
¿Se quiere hacer una harina como por acá? ¿Wakana kitiri? ¿Eh? ¿Comia?
Abamenyi we bunge ya Bonchari me ye county ya Kisii ni gobono banyara gusangiririkana asegiti kya Igonga agikaro kyanyara kurawa no mubunge bwa Chinsa Moske Charles Onchoke asomorobero buko bwatoka chibasari gochase aborokiwa bausoma chiskuru anamuno kuro ase bunge yo ya Abonchari inse yo morobero wekigancha kya NGCDF ababwatani ni gubanyara gwikirana ase omoyego yo nabo nechinga kyecho borokiwa bakubo wa banyare komento mukia ase chisemi elio kogendereria oseko reta burayo bya naboigo kobeka efisako bya samutuka arebusio.
Amount is 70 million Kenya shillings that we are issuing to our schools. Led by the Sub-County Director of Education. The security sector is here, led by the Deputy County Commissioner. Our teachers are here, our parents are here, our students are, some of our students are here. Talk about the single most important thing in our lives, education of our children. We've been able to get an allocation of 73 million Kenya shillings for Bonchari this financial year for purposes of supporting our students in learning. I know from last week, since schools reopened, there might be a number of students who've been affected because they've lacked fees to go back to school. I'm appealing to the principals here present and elsewhere that the checks are underway because when the child stays out for 3 days, is never compensated. Take on your refund for staying out for 3 days. Allow them back in school because we are paying that money. Allow them to learn. Our teachers, I'm appealing to you. Don't just send our kids because they haven't paid school fees. So we are giving the money so that our children can learn, so that they don't lose anything, so that they can become professionals, they can become useful members of society going forward. We are so very happy. As I said earlier, the manner in which we structure this program is so that we have professionals talking to us. What the experiences are, they bring in their expertise so that we learn and improve our management of education, so that the end goal is that we improve our performance of our children. So, takogenda Russia. Eyo kogenda orochiko nyenyo. Kisegi chiroro. Chimbunde chituma ituko chibuat. Wako trendo ko kwa drone ya ukora. So please, let's avoid Russia if we must go out of the country. That's a dangerous zone. It's a war zone. They are fighting a war. We don't understand what they are fighting about. We don't know how to fight it.
Serikali nene murai wense Moske William Ruto nigobono anyalire wetia umuswada abwekigancha kyo bwagachi ekyo kemanyekanete buna National Infrastructure Fund koba alichiko rituko olialero chinga kecho nigobono anyalire kwera buna ikigancha ekyo ngesiro bwagachi bwechipara kubeka sistema chidamu ase chinsemo chireri na boigo amagendero ande ime jinsi ya Kenya.
The National Infrastructure Fund is a commitment we made to the Kenyan people in our manifesto. Today, we fulfill that promise. But why did we propose the National Infrastructure Fund in the first place? Because of the scale of the challenge before us, there is need for a new approach. Multilateral development institutions estimate that Africa faces an infrastructure financing gap of up to $80 billion every year. That is, the continent requires about between 130 and 170 billion dollars for infrastructure development every year. Kenya and our infrastructure needs reflects that very reality. Every meeting, in every part of Kenya, the conversation is about this road and the other road. Electricity connection to this village and to that town. Connectivity in different parts of the country. And access to agricultural infrastructure for food security. Every meeting in every part of Kenya speaks to those issues. The World Bank has estimated that our country requires approximately $4 billion each year to meet its infrastructure needs.
Nase chipese cha National Infrastructure Fund ni gubono mwaziri w'ikigancha gya serikali Omusike John Mbadi anyare kuegerera igitambukiro kyo gya serikali nabo igo kuba gikeria bali bakororokana kwamireria enganeyo asatebire ensi ya Kenya ne chikogendera anemono asobwagachi bwechinsemo au.
I have heard cynics complain that we are divesting, that we are privatizing assets which are making profits. But they are not asking themselves whether we are optimizing the value of those assets. They need to wake up to the reality that mature assets can be optimized better, put to better use, that we can privatize these enterprises, raise resources, and invest in asset producing, commercially viable public assets, which again would give us more economic value going forward than what we are realizing from those assets today. Holding equity preserves ownership, and that is a basic lesson in a finance classroom. But it may not deliver the highest social return when the economy urgently requires infrastructure investment. And this administration has realized that. Hence, our move towards making sure that those assets that are mature can be optimized by privatizing them, by divesting from them, and creating seed capital in National Infrastructure Fund, which then would be used to de-risk our public infrastructure projects by blending our capital with the private sector. And that is what we call crowding in private sector to be able to realize economic progress.
Nase igitambukiro gya serikali ya kaunti ya Nairobi gikurawa no mugavana w'Chinsa Omusike Johnson Sakaja kubwatirana ne serikali enene nikubono litukoria rero Omusike Johnson Sakaja anyara kura igikaro igitangani kigima kia egatia bwabwatani kura serikali ya kaunti yo nabwo gokora ase serikali enene chinga kiecho nigo akwanera buna barachie koska kusibarachi kogenderera umuchio yo monene bosio kubwa muno kurigereria mangana ao ari arengete abamenyi be kaunti ya Nairobi kero barachi kurigereria nonya chinjira cyogo kyani umuchando bwetoigo usema kweli ayo akoretwa netoigo buna chinga kiechiga embra nyinge yabereke gotwa.
And so today's meeting is really to set the tone, to agree on these modalities of how we shall coordinate, to agree on the subcommittees, because remember, the cooperation agreements looks at certain areas. It looks at roads and infrastructure, it looks at housing, of course the river regeneration, coming at a time when we've had quite a disaster with flooding, legal and governance issues, environment as well, which are all, we need working teams. And so while the steering committee sets the general policy and direction and is supposed to meet quarterly, of course it can meet more often, this is really where we need to put focus on. Because the activities we agree on, the PSs are accounting officers, we have accounting officers from the county. What we agreed on is that every level of government shall do its work. We shall use this as a framework to get additional resources through the appropriation in the national budget as well as the county budget, but everyone shall do their work. We are not going to create other institutions. That was the agreement. Let us use the structures that we already have within the national government and also within the county government. What we need to agree on here is a coordinating, joint secretariat. We have our cabinet, our CC secretariat in the county, and the PS devolution should provide that as well from the national level.
Mwancho mweligereria mubasakano mube wepara nigonyara kwenekiwa ase para ya Valley Road angena Integrity Center ime yomochio Nairobi au yoerera umonto yomo gosiria ubugima bwaye uyorenge umurundi ya epigipigi naboigo abande batano na batatu kutigerwa chingoma chintindi ayaiga magega yegali enene ye basi eyuye mugetie abamenye barikogenda ase chinsemo ao yanyara kubutoka chibreak na gutuma chigali wetania isano.
Kwa majina naitwa Aden Mahmud Abdullahi. Nimetoka Saudi ya Kilimani, nilikuwa naingia town. nilikuwa naendesha probox. Mimi nimeona tu migongo kutoka nyuma, nikienda huku mara huku. Nikasema subhanallah, la ilaha illallah. Nikaona tu gari yangu imeangalia ile pale mimi nimetoka. Lakini alhamdulillah nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu sijaumia, niko sawa. Na ajali lakini ilikuwa mbaya sana, nimegonga na sisi shuttle kutoka nyuma.
Kwa majina naitwa Alex Kulema, mimi ndio mwenyekiti wa Kenya Bodaboda Association hapa Nairobi. Kuzungumzia ile kitu ambayo imefanyika leo, ya ajali ya leo imetuuma sana kwa sababu imekula mtu wetu. Samuel Juma alikuwa kijana mzuri, amekuwa kijana wa stage yangu kama chairman. Ajali zingine kama serikali inaweza tilia manani ile vitu ambayo inafanya, inaweza zuia. Hizi magari za City Shuttle na hizi magari za City Hopper, hizi magari mzee zimekaa kwa barabara muda mrefu. And most of the time unapata kwamba hizi gari hata zifanywi inspection.
Hiyo gari ilitoka huku juu, ilikuwa na speed. So kufika pale roundabout ni kama ilikatika ma brakes. So alikuwa anajaribu kukanyaga zinakata. So tulikuwa tunaenda left, tunaanguka left, tunaanguka right. Tunaanguka left, tunaanguka right. So kufika hapa ndio ikawa inagonga hizo magari ndogo. Hata hizo ndo zilitusaidia ika-reduce hiyo speed. Ndo basi yenyewe ikakuja ikaingia kwa mtaro pale. Hapo ndo tukasimamia.
My name is Mr. Cyrus Bundi, an assistant superintendent of police. I'm working with the traffic in Nairobi region, being traffic 4. Today in the morning, unfortunately we had an accident, a fatal road traffic accident, whereby one person died. I'm a motorcyclist. The cause of the accident was a matatu bus belonging to City Shuttle, which lost brakes and veered off the road, hitting very many cars. Around 6-7 cars were affected. We have taken one person who was dead. One person was dead that has been taken to City Mortuary. We had around about two seriously injured. The number of slight injuries is not very specific, but we can account for around 8 who are taken to hospital by ambulances.
Wancho murigereria engorene guchase bali basiriria abamwabo usabancho babo aseme basokano ao yeto igo no boige yechi para chinga kiechiga korende na se bali batigire chingoma okopwena kwa bwango ayo na yanda mange enyorera senchira engikirano kegima senchira yabene wetira se mitandao yeto yekirero Facebook na boigo YouTube nonya nechisemo chiria chia TikTok gendra subscribe uchase YouTube channel ya Getembe TV rinde onyara kwemanya amange una awateka ekero asekero ritariane Matildah Obaigwa na Veni Nyaboke kurwa sebe manyiririo Kevin Ongeri kurwa ase studio ya kabere enyorere Ekeonga senchira engikirano yekoraga Chinsa ibere na boigo Chinsa nye chiarero marago batwara uburigererio byakuba munaso murobiro bwekerorano oraretwa sore asembeo.
Kisii bono na bukwegokia asogo sonja etibi ya uwanje tia Getembe Television Network wetera Zuku Satellite Channel number 038 egoki nimiruli ao ya Getembe Television Network ayene amatiao kuri miensi ya Kenya, ili ya Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, wikanonya Zambia egulere edekoda ya Zuku chinga kichiga chemereka je Christmas amono guchingira ku mwaka muya idubwego kinemiruli yetu ao inyoranga nigo okonyora a channel ya Getembe wetera ase Zuku Satellite Channel number 038 Getembe Television Network Ekeonga kiamwa mogusi.
Lea Wow Kids Daycare ni kituo cha kulea watoto kuanzia mwaka 1 na kuendelea, mahali ambapo mtoto wako anajifunza kupitia michezo na kukua kwa furaha. Tunatoa huduma za full day na half day katika mazingira safi, salama na yenye upendo. Tuna wafanyakazi wenye mapenzi, subira na uangalifu wa hali ya juu kwa watoto wako. Lea Wow Kids Daycare tunazingatia potty training kwa ustadi, michezo bunifu na ya kuelimisha.